What is up, everybody? Happy Sunday. We are live on October 16th, 2022 for the Cedar Point podcast.
Yay!
Hi.
What's going on, everyone?
What is up? We're back. This is a perfect day for Cedar Point. Not too hot.
Apparently, everyone else in the world is thinking the same thing because
Dave,
we have been absolutely slammed.
I'll start with you, Dave, because I saw your pictures yesterday. Holy crap! Just the Panda Express line. I mean, who knew they needed to offer fast lane passes for Panda Express?
You could probably fly to China.
Everybody wants Chinese.
Yeah.
I could have drove to the Franklin Park Mall in Toledo, ate Panda Express, gone back to Cedar Point, and probably got my food before that line got served. Yeah,
even Backbeat Barbecue had a line down the midway. It was insane.
You know, they may at some point, and I don't think they ever will, but they need to consider opening it up maybe more days, because I don't know, man, because even if you can get a few thousand people knocked out in some other days, when it's concentrated on 2 or 3 days, then everyone's you're forced to go on those 2 or 3 days. That's the thing. Maybe people don't go on like a regular Cedar Point. Maybe people don't go on a Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, but you get enough people that go that unclog the weekends a little bit.
Don't they do that on Thursdays now, though? They're open on Thursdays.
Yeah, they do. Thursday through
But
Sunday,
only 6 to midnight on Thursdays.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Part of it, too, is staffing issues, because there are a lot of locations closed. So when you get that many people and you have several closed locations, well, the ones that are open are just going to, be twice as busy.
That's the same point. Yeah. When you limit the amount of places open, well, then you're causing lines for the ones that are open. I don't know, man. I hate to go back to it, but maybe once the kids go back to school, you need to go to the $20 an hour and do a special, hey, seasonal. If you're here from this time to this time and don't miss any days, you're $20 an hour, plus you get a $500 bonus or $1,000 bonus or something, because the place just really shuts down too much once the kids go back to school. They really need to address that issue, I think.
Yeah, somebody sent me a screenshot. I don't know if it was weather related or not, but the wait times in the park on, I think it was Friday or Saturday night, one or the other. 3/4 of the rides were like closed. I mean, there's a lot of major coasters closed. A lot of the spinning ones were closed.
It would have been.
I don't know what was going on, but apparently, I don't know. Like I said, if it was due to weather or staffing or what, but yeah, not good.
Yeah, no, I don't know, man. They got to figure something out, because it can't. I mean, it's every day at this capacity. Even on Sundays when a lot of the haunted stuff isn't open. But we went last Sunday and it was crazy. Mm-hmm.
Well, it's a problem right now with. I'm sorry, Nicole.
No, that's all right. I was just going to see who was there.
Oh, okay. So it's a problem right now because worldwide. It's not just a Cedar Point thing. Just people don't want to work, or there's not enough people in the workforce right now because everyone's paying more money, so they got better jobs, and now you're real limited on who will work for the amount that they'll pay.
Well, it's funny because I had this this is more of not really Cedar Point related, more of a philosophical conversation, but there are a lot of people that say, well, there are people that don't want to work, or maybe attacking some of the workforce or being late. Not saying you, Dave, just in general, saying talking about being lazy and things like that. I think what it is COVID caused people to reevaluate their lives, and they have decided they're not going to work for what you are paying. And the problem is that the many service industry business models are based on lower wages. So now you can't pay those lower wages if you need the same bottom line. Well, now you have to cut staffing to make up for that. So I think I think any service industry business is going to have to rethink their model moving forward, because I just don't think people are going to work. I think any service industry business, $10 an hour is over. I mean, those days are over.
That's the problem right now. We've got factories all up and down over here that are paying between $16 and $19 an hour to start. But then you have fast food places paying $9, $10 an hour. It's like, well, who's going to do that when you could go to work at a factory, get all that money plus benefits and this and that, who wants to go work at Burger King? You know, I mean,
Well,
it's
and
that's
you can't
fucked
have.
up.
I mean, you can't have it your cake and eat it too. Bottom line is, wages are going to have to go up, and prices are going to go up. It just is. I mean, the dollar burgers at McDonald's aren't going to be $1 anymore. They're going to be
Well,
two.
they haven't been for a while, I don't think.
Really? Or yeah. So, but I mean, we're just if we want people to have better wages, it's just going to have to be accepted. Everything is going to have to go up. Because here's the thing: $15 now is basically minimum wage. $20 if you want to get a decent worker is where you need to be. Is $20 an hour. And again, the service industry isn't prepared for that yet because it's a newer thing. But that's something they're going to have to figure out is how to rework their model so that they can pay $15 to $20 an hour, and it's going to obviously it's not magic money. It's going to have to be on the consumer to pick up more. But I mean, it's just the way it is.
Who knew that we were getting a economy lesson this morning on the Cedar Point podcast?
Right?
How do we fix the economy?
And for
It's
me,
a
almost a
worldwide
passes.
thing, you know. I've been kind of following it for a while. It's a worldwide thing. It's not just in our country. Other countries are having the same issue right now in that. So I think it all stems back, like you said, Andrew, to COVID, you know.
yeah, people have decided family time. They put a price on family time where they really didn't before, I think, and it caused people to just reevaluate their whole lives.
And the industry starting slowly is starting to catch on. I mean, even major retailers now you'll see are starting to shut down on Thanksgiving. I noticed it yesterday because employees just, you know, are a little more picky these days, you know.
Well, we're at the point where now things have changed. For years, your employer was in the driver's seat. Now the employee's in the driver's seat, and it's just a different world. It's going to take some getting used to, and we don't know where it's going to finally land. But I mean, that's where we're at right now. Employees are driving the workplace now, and we'll see where it goes. What's up, Donnie?
How you guys doing?
We're just talking about
Good morning.
we were talking about crazy lines and work shortages.
Yeah. Well, and you know, every year at this time of the year too, because of the seasonal workers, so it's just a little bit worse this year than normal. But
Well,
you know, speaking of people not being open on Black Friday again this time, I think we've just moved it so far ahead. I mean, like Walmart has their stuff out right now. Like Black Friday sales start now. So it's like there's such a fight. Plus, I think it's a inventory thing too, because they know they're going to be short. Like, you know that if you don't get your Christmas shopping in by the end of November, it's going to be hard to find anything because of shortages. So I think in a smart way, the retailers have gotten their stuff out early to try to replenish.
Well,
in the meantime, because it's going to be that much harder to get your to keep things in stock.
yeah.
I mean, we don't want to go too deep into this, but I do want to real quick. I do want to touch with Donnie, because Donnie in the car business, which is what Donnie is in, he used to go from 200 cars to 4 cars now on the lot to sell.
Well, 500-600 new cars is what we used to keep in stock. We have about.
Well, what they say,
right
Donnie,
now.
prices of cars are up over 9% over this time. What, last year or the year before?
Oh yeah, 20% at the. It's. I think it's going to happen kind of like a. I think we're gonna. You know, when you see like a graph how it's like up and down, I think we're going to even out. You're starting to see values come down a little bit, prices come down a little bit on used cars, and I think that'll reflect in new cars as well. We did see it in the past, and it went back up. So, like, it's going to come down, then it'll go back up a bit and come down. The more inventory we have, it's just, you know, we've been so far behind demand that it hasn't even been close to be able to get ahead of it. But I think we're getting turning a corner.
I think as Americans, we want things. We look for things to happen quickly, and you don't realize when you shut the economy down for even a short amount of time, you're going to feel that wave for the correction for years, and that's kind of what we're in right now. We really never seen anything like this, and we're used to now. So it's just an odd thing for Americans. But like Dave said, the whole world is feeling it. Go ahead. You want to say something, Dave?
Yeah. Well, I just wanted to mention too. It's been 2 weeks since I've been to the park. Has anybody noticed? Remember how they had what they called ride prides? All the college students would come in and work for money to raise for their organizations at school.
Mm-mm.
Have you guys noticed any of them this year? Yeah,
I didn't notice them before either.
Oh yeah. That was a big
Not
thing.
a clue.
That was a big thing. They come in and raise money for their fraternities,
Well,
and work at Cedar Point.
what a cool idea! I didn't even know that was.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's
That's a
awesome.
cool idea.
They got quite a few workers in the past from doing that during Halloween weekends.
Dave, I never noticed it before, so I definitely haven't noticed it now.
Yeah.
But here's playing on that, Dave. We're talking about creative ways to get workers and keep things open. I was at the University of Toledo football game last night, and I was talking to the head of the beverage service, whatever, the food and beverage guy, and he said that what they do is they get charities to work different sections of the game, and then they get a percentage of the proceeds. So
There's there's national companies that do that all across the United States. It's called Compass Group and North Star, and having done that, working at concerts. So for a nonprofit, I go and work concessions, and you make a percentage of the sales, and you get all of the tips. And the group that I work with, we make up to, we've made over $50 an hour doing that. It's incredible money. And if Cedar Point could figure out how to get into that, it would be a really awesome thing, at least for concessions. That's what we work it as. So, but it's all nonprofit. So it's not salary. That's the problem so you can only use that money for nonprofit purposes. Like it pays for my daughter's dance team stuff or kids sports stuff. I can only use that money that I earn for those type of expenses.
Well, see, it's interesting you say that. So that's actually money paid. So there are several options here. I just don't. Cedar Point has chosen D, none of the above, but which they do a little too often. But that's another way. That's a different avenue. That's where the money goes directly to you, Nicole. But like with UT's model, it goes directly to charity. So if it's the Pitbull crew that's helping pit bulls, well, then a percentage will go to that organization. So obviously all the volunteers will work towards that organization. So there are a lot of creative ways. I think they need to get creative a little faster. I think a lot of times they get behind the 8 ball and they're playing catch up. And I think this is probably another area, because if you can get some of these organizations or people to work the stands where you have a couple management, you cut down, then maybe some of those workers can now work rides or maybe the more skilled positions. And then now you're not having things closed down, as many things closed down for this amount of time. So, I mean, I think we've come up with, I really think we've come up with some real solutions, and maybe we just
all season long. All season long, we've been solving problems.
Well, that's the thing. Last year, it looked like they were overstaffed. They had too many workers last year. Now this year, it's totally different.
I just think we're seeing the convergence of, that the economy is a little unstable. The workers in general have learned that, hey, I can survive on a gig economy, like doing this and that and putting things together. And these super cheap passes that everybody's going. I paid $100. I'm going to Cedar Point. I don't care if there's 50,000 people in the park. Yep. I'm still going. I've already spent the money. It costs me nothing to go there. So it's that convergence. And the pictures, I mean, it's just a sea of people. It's just absolutely insane. So on social media, all the posts are about the lines, people getting swallowed up by crowds.
It's true. Donnie knows I've been railing against the $99 pass for several years now, but I think we're really starting to see the effects of it. And like you said, the problem is, so let's say I go to Apple Fest or Cherry Fest or Pumpkin Fest or whatever. So now, you go there, you want to ride, the rides are a train, something that's spinny, maybe and maybe a horsey ride or something. So, there's 3 or 4 rides. I'm paying $15 to $20 per kid, per person. So for a family, I'm spending, $100 or $150 at Pumpkin Place with subpar rides. Or I can now, because I paid $99, maybe I take my kids to Cedar Point where they get $1 billion rides and all that. So I think too many people may be making that choice. because it made, like for us, we were going to go to last Sunday, we were going to go to a pumpkin patch. It's like, do we really want to spend, by the time we eat out, do all that, we spend $200, or we spend 20 bucks in gas round trip for 7 people, and we go to Cedar Point for a few hours, eat a couple meals, have some rides, and then we come home, which is obviously
That's a great point, Andrew, because I know a few people that typically only went to Cedar Point once, maybe twice a year. Well, now they see this $99 gold pass, which is only a couple of dollars more than a one-day ticket. They're like, well, let's get this. We can go a bunch of times now.
Yeah,
That's me. I'm that person. I'm the one that everybody hates. Sorry, friends.
Now you got this overflow of people coming in that normally wouldn't have come in, So,
yeah. I mean, there's so many factors, and maybe that's why. I mean, like I said, they've chosen none of the above, but there's so many factors to consider. Hopefully, giving them the benefit of the doubt behind the scenes, they're seeing all this, processing it, and having meetings. But I don't know. I think we come up with some pretty solid ideas with us. Hopefully, they're solid because they're easily thought of, and everyone else at Cedar Point is thinking of them, and it'll implement them. Or we're just really smart. I don't know what the answer is.
Yes and
well,
yes.
I feel like that was a really nice segue there, talking about those $1 billion rides. What is going on with Dragster?
Yeah, Dave.
Oh my gosh.
Dragster is something to talk about.
Yeah, you've been kind of keeping us updated. What's going on? What is that?
Well, before we start, I just wanted to show. I found this out in the garage yesterday. I couldn't believe I still had this. This was a refillable souvenir cup that came out the year Dragster opened. It's hard to see on the camera, but it's molded like a Dragster vehicle.
Oh,
that's awesome.
You can see it on there.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, I see it now.
Yeah, Top Bill Dragster. This was like the refillable mugs they have today, but it was in a tall, like whalebone type.
Yeah.
I thought I'd show that. That was kind of cool.
Those are yard cups.
Yeah.
So what I saw on the Cedar Point page is that I saw the station where the cars used to be, and they totally it was gone. It was like a ghost town. It was
the station has been totally gutted of everything, including all the handrails, everything. Now the interesting thing here is the track that I mentioned last podcast that they're storing off site in the storage yard. Mm-hmm. Well, that was seen with a crane being put into shipping containers going overseas.
I saw that.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So okay. So how do you know it's going overseas? Was there a stamp on the shipping container already?
Yeah, they're like the big overseas shipping containers with those weird names on them. I don't know. But
like the movie Madagascar.
So it's like,
So
it's like, all right, Cedar Point. We have all this roller coaster, and let's go where there aren't a lot of regulations. We'll send it over there and let them deal with it.
Well, that kind of narrows things down a bit, because I was thinking maybe S&S would be doing something, but if they were shipping it to S&S, they're located in Utah, which would make more sense at that point to put it on like a flatbed, stack them all on a flatbed or whatever, and ship them to Utah. But no, they're putting them in these overseas shipping containers. So I'm thinking it's a manufacturer that's overseas going to be doing something with it.
Okay, I'm super out of touch. Is the actual
awning
main part of the track
still
there?
Yeah,
the only
everything's
thing that's there.
Except for the flat parts that were on the ground on both sides, like where you come down from the tower and before you go up the tower. Those straight sections.
Yeah, the tower is still there.
All that is gone.
The
tower's intact. Yeah, up until the incline part starts.
Go ahead, Donnie. What were you saying?
Oh, nothing. I was just saying, what if they took those? What if those pieces aren't coming back, and what's going to come back is what's going to be different? You know what I mean? Like,
right?
Those pieces are being recycled somewhere, and they're going to bring in some other stuff, other shapes.
I don't know. It depends, because time will tell. Because if they remove the track on the tower, then I'm going to say all new track. But if they're taking those to do something to it with a new launch system or whatever, because you got to remember, a new launch system, they had the limbs on there. They'd have to mount the limbs to the track pieces and whatnot.
Yeah.
They would have to use the same track. So
okay.
Yeah.
And then people have to understand that they are not tearing it down.
Well, we still don't know, Dylan.
I mean,
we still don't know.
I
know you're holding
really
on to
can be anything.
That's what I keep hearing.
Really, about 35% has just been torn down. So, 35, 40% probably has already been torn down. Now, the interesting thing is, what makes me feel good is we're in October. They started this work at least 30, 45, 60 days ago. I think there's a chance that it's ready by next season.
You think? I don't know, because they got the beach boardwalk opening up. I mean, that's a
Right.
huge thing in itself. And that kind of like, it's another segue here, but into the rumors that have been going around about the corkscrew midway, the corkscrew going away, maybe
real quick, Dave. Real quick, Dave. I want to finish this real quick. Is that so? Let's say, okay, Wild Mouse. We know they're building a Wild Mouse, right?
Yeah, it was just Wild Mouse.
They haven't even started it, and it's going to be ready for next season. So why, if they have a roller coaster half built already, and they've been working on it for a couple months, I don't see why that couldn't be ready by opening day next season.
Depends. It all depends on what they're doing.
Yeah. Just because of their timing is they usually will not, like when they worked on Steel Vengeance, they worked on Steel Vengeance for like 3 or 4 years. And all we did was talk about what it might be, and then they announced it like the fall, the end of the summer before the next year when it was gonna be open. So I feel like
when season pass,
if it's gonna be ready, So I think this is gonna be a through next year type thing, and at the end of the summer next year, we should expect an announcement for the following 2024 season. Because otherwise, I mean, they could announce it in the middle of the winter. It's just not their normal timing, you know.
I agree with Donnie. I think you're
right. I think you're right.
I'm taking the other side. What I'm thinking is they haven't made an announcement because it's such a different departure from there's so many factors they don't know as opposed to building a new ride. I think that they're gonna try, but they're not gonna announce because they don't know. But I think it could come midwinter. They're gonna be like, well, let's see. We're working on it now. Let's see how far we get, and then we'll make a determination as we get further in to see how far. And you know, honestly, how bad winter is, that could also be a factor.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
And I will say to part that for Andrew's argument is like Cedar Point is getting more and more business savvy all year round. Like, you know how the NFL never stays out of the news. The season's only like 6-7 months long, but they're in the news all year because they have combine, draft, and free agency. They spread all this stuff out on purpose to stay in the news. So Cedar Point, you know, they do their holiday video, their snow videos, their plow videos.
Holiday video.
Yeah, have you watched? If you go to the YouTube page, they've released a holiday video. I think the last 2 or 3 years, like a Christmas style. Last year they did a song, but yeah. So they're pretty smart. The marketing team up there knows what they're doing.
Yeah. So we'll see.
I just think they've never announced 2 rides in the same season. They've already announced Wild Mouse and the Boardwalk. I think that this will be the 2024 big reveal. Will be what finally is happening with Dragster. I don't see them announcing 2 projects of that size for one season, even if it is almost done or making progress. But to what you're saying, Andrew, like if they're making a ton of progress, they're gonna have to say something because people are gonna see it. Those cameras, the aerial cameras are on all the time. So
but don't they shut them down off sometime, or
they'll move it? They'll move them
or point them in a different direction. You know, if they're doing something they don't want you to see.
Yeah.
But come May, we're going to see it anyway. So regardless, even if they change the cameras, opening weekend, you're going to see it. So
I mean, it's a 400
taking over from the Magnum.
Too. You're going to see it. I mean,
right?
You know.
All right.
Another thing is there anything where the Wicked going on at the Wicked Twister site?
Yeah, that's where the boardwalk is.
Boardwalk. Oh, okay.
Yeah, the mouse.
Dave, you wanted to touch. So let's move to the next one. The rumors about where the Midway and where Corkscrew is. We kind of touched on it, but I know you've kind of gotten a little more information on that.
I'm starting to hear more rumblings from people on the inside that Corkscrew's days are numbered. Next season may be its final season.
Wow.
And it makes sense.
And I won't miss it
because they are removing Matterhorn and Scrambler for the beach project.
Yeah.
So that
Yeah.
opens up that room. If you were to remove a corkscrew, all you would have to do is move the Music Express ride, the Himalaya, and you got a big chunk of land right there for something.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Well, and it's
Now-
across the walkway from Dragster, so it'll be really interesting how, this year is the boardwalk. The 2024 season is a revamp of that
Well-
section of Midway.
And,
Okay, so-
interesting too is, with Dragster getting redone, the timing kind of makes sense too. If it's not going to open until 24, they could do
Yeah.
something going over the Midway similar to Corkscrew.
Right. That's
That,
what I was gonna. That's what I was gonna say to jump into your guys' camp for a moment. Let's say they are looking 2024 for Dragster. You could almost reimagine that whole area. That if you're doing a master plan, there you could do some really cool stuff in there because so much is going to be changing.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a
man.
large area. I mean, there's a lot of potential with Dragster, what they could do with it.
Do you
And
guys
that wall
think
is still there, right? That big wall,
where?
the Berlin Wall.
Yes, yeah, it's
Yeah.
still there. Go ahead, Donnie. What were you gonna say?
I feel like, so let's say Corkscrew comes down. If they don't leave those loops there, they've got to be put. They've got to be somewhere. Whether or not, even like maybe, I mean, it wouldn't really fit into the museum when that finally opens. But they've got those corkscrews are so iconic. Those screws that you walk under. Like how I can't
Oh, I know
imagine
what you're talking about. Yep.
Well, that's
all
what I
the
mean with the Dragster
40 and over crowd,
project.
hearts breaking.
Well, with the
Um,
Dragster project, if they extend the length of the ride, they could do something
Mhm.
like that over the Midway
Yeah.
with Dragster.
Yeah,
Yeah. I'm with
in
you,
trying
Donnie.
to
America-
replicate it.
There's something
Yeah,
super.
yeah, exactly.
There's something cool too when you're walking and then the coaster just swoops above you. I mean,
Under, yeah.
it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Well,
I'm just saying
I'm sorry,
Go,
Nicole,
go ahead, Dave.
I just was going to say they still have us talking. You know what I mean? Like that's one of the awesome
They got us
things.
doing
Sorry,
what they
Dave.
want. No, one of
Yeah.
the other parks,
sure.
I'm trying to remember the name of it now. It's out east. They had a corkscrew coaster there, and it had some historical value to it. It was like one of the first. Well, they just removed theirs. 'Cause
Oh,
aged. I mean, a lot of parks are removing them because they're just they only last so many years, But they actually
Yeah.
donated the loops to the roller coaster museum down in Texas. They actually have a big roller coaster museum down in Texas, and they donated the corkscrews
Really?
to them down there. Yeah, they're
Wow.
going to be doing something with them.
That's
Wow.
cool.
That's an idea too.
Yeah, that's cool. All right, let's talk another one. Mine Ride. That's another one. Corkscrew and Mine Ride. Two rides. Even if they're walk-ons, my family will pass them up. They hate the Mine Ride. I don't know why, but they just do. And I think, Colleen says it's because it's whipping. It's whipping you back and forth. But my family refuses to ride the Mine Ride. I think a lot of families are like that, and should it be retired? Is it time?
That's wooden.
We
isn't
ride
it?
it.
We'll ride it too. We got stuck on it actually.
Yeah, we'll ride it too. I think
We
it's
ride the Mine Ride,
like,
right?
The problem with Cedar Point, one of my biggest problems I have with them, being a parent, is they're real limited on like beginner type coasters, unless it's a kiddie coaster. You need some like beginner entry level coasters, like Iron Dragon, Mine Ride. You
Yeah.
need some of those, for the kids.
And it's not a bad coaster, really.
I
I don't ride it because it's got the restraint system. They're all on one.
It's
They're all
terrible.
on one joint. So, like bigger guys like myself, they jam those things down. So,
Well, I'll tell you,
And
Donnie,
it's not
they're
even
all together.
when you ride that ride, cross your ankles when you put them down there, and it gives you an extra 2-3 inches.
Oh,
But it's not even
so you
just
can
the
man spread a little better?
seat. It's not even just the seat. It's the entire car shares
Well-
the restraint system. So you are at
Yeah.
the mercy of the biggest person in that. What is it? A 3-seat car.
Yeah, 3
So-
rows. Yeah.
You got some little tiny 12-year-old who's in there that is not, for sure not staying in
Well,
the
let me let
ride.
you guys in on a little history lesson on Mine Ride. The reason it's like that, it wasn't always like that, is years ago,
well,
they used to have those foam padded seats in there where you sat in it and it
Yeah.
sank down, like upholstered type seats. Well, they removed those and put in those hard plastic ones. So when you sit in there, there's no give.
Yeah.
You're just there. With the other ones, you sank down
Wow.
a little bit, and you had that extra bit of, a couple inches of room. Now you don't have that.
Well-
They lost that.
Well, the
Are you there, Andrew?
The other
Well,
problem
yes.
too is
There we
that Donnie revealed on his radio show yesterday was that. Can you not hear me?
I
You
hear
hear
you.
Now
we
we can.
hear you now.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
You
You
guys
were
not hear
cutting
me?
out a minute ago.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. One of the issues for Donnie too, when it comes to the mine ride, as we learned on his radio show yesterday, that he's got abnormally large testes, and so I'm guessing when you shove that bar down,
Yes.
he says
Gives
he's
him
in the
a
1
warm hug.
percentile.
Yeah.
Well,
that's
no,
what I
it's
think,
true.
Donnie,
He's in the
you
1
Steel Vengeance,
percentile
too.
of testes.
You weren't a
I'm
big
gonna
fan of
jump in here
Mantis
because
then,
I
right?
actually have a conversation with
Correct.
Ashley.
Yeah. Yeah. So Steel Vengeance is a similar situation. I'm not entirely
Yes.
sure.
So I guess my wife had a conversation.
I said, I'm not entirely sure Steel Vengeance didn't have something to do with them growing too large as well from trauma.
Hmm.
Oh, man.
Best wishes with that.
Yeah. And
By the
we
way,
just
my
mentioned
wife says that
Mantis.
my wife said my wife had a conversation with Donnie's wife, and I guess they're referring to him as the family jewels, or he's got a lot
Yeah,
of
the family
jewels.
jewels.
Wow. Good times. So how about the
So,
weather,
all right.
guys?
So
Yeah, go blue.
my wife just my wife my wife just sent me a note, and I'm gonna show it to you guys, and then you guys can discuss. This is my wife's note.
Aw.
Oh,
Unpopular
Maverick.
You
opinion,
read it?
Maverick sucks.
I agree.
I
Wow,
disagree.
really? It says-
I love
Yeah,
Maverick.
I don't agree with
Now-
It
that.
says
now-
Dave has said that he doesn't like
Unpopular-
Maverick.
I'll
Uh-oh.
say this.
Wow.
The crew working the ride
Unpopular-
is
okay.
awesome. The crew is just kick butt.
The crew
Yeah, really
kills
good
it.
For
crew.
those, wait, real
Yeah.
quick.
You having a seizure there or
I think
something?
Real quick
Andrew.
for those listening to the podcast, it says unpopular opinion. Maverick sucks.
Yeah, I just don't get
Can you hear me?
Maverick. The launch and
Why?
You guys
everything,
can hear me?
but they launch
I love
out of
Maverick.
the awesome tunnel, and then
You're glitching, Andrew.
yeah, you're
just so
glitching in
you
and
know.
out. They launch you out of a tunnel into brakes. It's like, well, what's this about?
Right.
That's
You know.
I agree,
I
but
will-
that does not mean that the entire ride isn't awesome.
Well,
That is
to
a
me,
great
Yeah,
like-
I
ride.
love
I
Maverick.
love it.
Kind of hitting on what Donnie was hitting on. The molded seat is uncomfortable for me for the same reason mine ride's uncomfortable for him.
I will say, however you feel about Maverick, it is the undisputed champion of the park. If you want to go by wait times,
By
Steel
wait time for
Vengeance kind of
sure.
took over for a couple of years, but it's kind of even back out to where Maverick is going to have the longest line at any given point. So that tells me it's still the undisputed
Well,
champ of
I think
Cedar
the
Point.
problem with Maverick is there's so many fast lane users on there. When you go on any busy day, the fast lane thing is out down the midway. And
Mhm.
those trains are, remember, they're not full trains. They're only
Yeah.
4 or 5, rows each too.
Yeah, but
Mhm.
there's 2 trains loading and unloading every time. So there's what,
Mhm.
6 cars
There's
with 2 people per
well-
seat. So that's still 24
Yeah, but you
loading.
still
Yeah.
gotta wait
each-
for the block to clear in front of it.
Yeah, they're running.
Yeah.
They're running. I
Right.
think
Right.
4. They run at 4 almost all the time, which is
Mhm.
pretty good.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, I think it's a great ride, and that's why the line is long.
Oh, I
But why
agree.
is
It's
he
amazing.
saying- Why is Colleen saying that it sucks?
Yeah, I want to hear Colleen's take. Would she just put on some headphones and get in here and talk to us?
Inquiring minds wanna know. Come on.
Tell her I need some other feminine
She says-
energy in this space. Come on.
No, I'm
All
not.
right, she says. Go ahead. Oh my! You guys hear me?
Are you
We can hear you
freezing?
now.
We can hear you now.
I don't know what's going on with my signal, but she was saying that it's basically kind of the same thing as the mine ride and the corkscrew is just it's jerky. So
It's
I don't know.
jerky?
That's not a good reason.
Excuse
You
me.
can't hate every ride.
No.
Look, yeah, go on the back. Just ride the baskets back and forth. Don't sit here and complain about the rides. Right, just ride the baskets back and forth. You don't have to worry about jerkiness.
It is
ride
not
the-
jerky. It is smooth.
So Andrew,
Men
you ride
usually
Maverick
like
then,
things
right?
that are jerky.
Right.
But I'm not saying it's the worst ride in the park.
Well, what was that, Dave?
It's not one of my favorites, you know.
It hurts my back.
Yeah. I apologize, you guys. I'm losing the momentum because it's hard to hear. I know you guys are hard to hear me or whatever. All right. I want to talk about this. We kind of got down the road. Another couple caught riding their own personal rides in Cedar Point, if you will.
What is wrong
What
with
is
people?
going on? Like, what is making what about Cedar Point is making you have
Randy?
the urge?
Oh, wait.
Yeah, I guess
Do we-
there's
do we have another
Randy,
couple?
I don't know.
I guess there's an act going on in line for one of the haunted houses in the
Yeah.
line.
What?
Yeah, in the line.
In the line, and it was videoed. But also, I don't know if this is true. I heard that there had been
I don't get-
previous activity in the line that was much more involved, I guess, more intimate, I will say.
Care to elaborate
there's
on
not
that,
video.
Nicole? You know.
I don't care to, but I appreciate your it just was like, what is happening? I don't know. And I must stop talking.
Let's go to Cedar Point and cause a ruckus. People.
I mean,
Right.
there's
You're
1,000
engaging
hotels in
in
the area.
acts.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean, why you wait to get to Cedar Point is beyond me.
Yeah.
The interesting point is that it was recorded
Well, and your
by
car's
someone
right out.
that's a
Your car's right out.
Andrew.
Andrew and his tech
it
problems.
was recorded. So I'll just say that this act was recorded by a minor. So now this couple is in more trouble because it was witnessed by minors. So
Yeah.
good. Go to jail. And she's like a bank VP.
Well-
like, come on, have
Wow.
some self-respect.
Well, and I wonder now. You know, when I was a kid, can you guys hear me? All right. I don't know.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can hear you now.
When I was a kid, you know, our go-to park was Disneyland, and Disneyland absolutely did not allow alcohol. I don't know if it still does not to this day, but bottom line, there's no
Oh, no.
alcohol. And you have to say
You
a
can drink
lot
at
of these,
Disney.
I'm sure, have to have something to do with alcohol. So is there something to be said for not serving alcohol at the parks?
Well, I'll tell you, they are selling a lot of alcohol at the park. The lines for beers and those body bag or blood bag things are just crazy long. So I know they're making a lot of money on that. You know, so
Yeah, if they stop selling it, I'll be sneaking it in. So they might as well just keep going with it.
Maybe that's why they're doing it, because they're getting too tipsy at the park, so that they're getting.
For sure. But come on.
There's a lot of
Nobody
people that
likes
drink that don't do that
sloppiness.
stuff.
There's lots of people who drink that don't
Right.
engage in sex acts
Right.
in public.
Right.
So
right. I mean, the majority of people you're talking, these drinks aren't like a $4 beer from a bar. These are like $10, $12 drinks.
$15.
You know, so it's not like I'm going to planning on going to Cedar Point to get blitzed. You know, I mean,
Well, she's a bank VP, so she's got money. She probably had.
I got
do
so
it
many
though.
jokes with that right now, but I got to keep it clean.
Do it. Come on, Dave.
Yeah,
I want to hear
know.
Dave jokes.
But,
I just don't understand. I just
yeah.
don't understand. I think it's so disgusting, and that's very judgmental of me. I try not to be judgmental, but
well, no, it
you
is,
could
you're
even
right.
go
I
like
mean,
to like if you're that needy, you could sneak into a bathroom. I
Really?
mean, there's lots of options.
Tell us
if
the
that's what
Sky
you're
ride.
trying-
I mean, you
I'm
know,
just
there's all
saying.
kinds of things.
No, no.
Skyride, you get caught.
Go to the car, like
I
Andrew's
mean,
saying, and then
Maybe the rides just
Okay.
weren't exciting enough for them.
Yeah, maybe they wanted their own ride. I don't know.
they
But,
wanted a different
Right.
ride.
well, I'll tell you this:
Inappropriate.
years ago, when I was much younger, David, I worked at Cedar Point, and I did work Skyride for a short time, and there's a lot of things going on in those sky buckets.
Well, and
But,
I have to admit, I have made out in the Haunted Mansion ride at Disneyland. You know where?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Really?
Party. Making out is very different than what was going on in the freak show
Right.
line. It was the
Yeah.
line for freak show, right?
I believe it
Wasn't
was, yeah. Well, so it lived
Very
up to
different.
its name. It was a freak show. Yeah, I mean, there you go.
I mean, it's not that freaky, but when you do it in public,
Yeah.
I'm trying to find the video. All I can find is a video of them being interviewed, and they're trying to like explain away what they did.
you're trying to find the actual video, Donnie?
Yeah.
That's going to be
I
on a
wanna-
maybe for pay channel. You might have to pay for that one.
Yeah.
I want to
Yeah,
give my
pay-per-view,
2 cents. Okay.
HBO Prime or whatever, you can catch it on there.
I don't, Dave.
Um,
That's not on HBO of any kind. We'll tell you.
Are
You got to
you-
go a
Or
little darker
Cinemax.
web.
Can you guys
Cinemax
hear
would be
me?
more appropriate, right?
We can hear you, Andrew.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, you were glitching though.
Oh,
Well,
now
no,
he's
no.
going.
He's gone.
Well,
What do
while
we
we're waiting
do?
for him, I guess
Now he's completely gone.
we'll go
Now
on
we
to the
can
next thing.
talk behind his back.
Yeah.
'Cause
Well,
the-
you guys here, the drop tower in Orlando
Yeah.
is being removed.
I heard.
yeah.
Yeah, they decided to tear it down. You know, after
Are
the
you
incident,
talking about the
horrible
one that
incident.
had where they had the accident
Hmm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yep.
with?
Mhm.
It
Oh,
is
I
being
didn't know
removed.
that.
Well, it just came
Yep,
out this
from
week,
Icon
Dylan.
Park
So
down there. Yeah,
I don't see
which
how
I
there was
think is
any
the right
other way.
decision.
Yeah,
A lot of
there's no other
enthusiasts
way.
are upset about it. They're like, "Well, people have died on rides before, and they never removed them." But this made national headlines. You drive right by it on a busy road every day. You got thousands of cars right there. You look at it.
Well,
I think it was the
and
right decision.
if you guys remember when we talked about it more, I feel very strongly because that ride was tampered with. So
Yes.
there was human intention that altered those restraints. So I feel like it's a criminal situation. So
Mhm.
it was done intentionally. This young boy died. Like, it should be gone. And I assume they're
Yeah,
going to
I
tear it down
agree.
and just move it to Europe or something like that.
That's what I'm thinking. They may. Well, we'll see when they tear it down how carefully they tear it down. But
Yeah.
I would assume that they're not going to take a total loss on it. That they're going to move it somewhere else, or overseas, like you said,
Yeah.
and wait a couple years and set it up. And I don't know, but
It was-
I think it's the right decision. People mention, well, people have died on other rides. Well, it's like, yeah, but that other ride that they died on wasn't videotaped and all over the internet, all over social media.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of a different situation here.
Different time. And that's what my
Yeah.
point is of somebody intentionally altered that ride. So
Mm-hmm.
in other situations, maybe there was a human element, but I don't know that there's ever been another time that it's been proven that someone has altered the restraint systems or, something that was intentionally done that caused the death. And maybe I'm totally wrong, but
No, you're right. It was
I don't know.
human interaction with the ride that caused it. I mean, somebody did something to one of the settings on the ride and altered one of the safety settings, which it still blows me away that one of those settings can be altered with, messed with.
right.
Yeah.
I mean,
it was like a bolt or
why-
something, I think.
That should be a set thing on there by the manufacturer. It's like, yeah, there's no give. This is it. This is what you can do.
And it was a new ride, so everything should be
just open.
taken care of.
It was open.
It should be state of the art. Should be the pinnacle of safety because it is a brand new.
Absolutely.
I'm
yeah.
glad that that's what they're doing.
Yeah, and I believe now most parks are starting to put seatbelts on that type of drop tower, as to where this one didn't.
Thank God.
Which it's beyond me. That's another thing. It's like, why wouldn't you have a redundant, like a seatbelt on there?
I was thinking about that last time I went on Iron Dragon because I had a conversation about Cedar Point has redundant restraints.
Yeah.
Iron Dragon does not. It's only got the shoulder harness.
Yeah, with that big ride, I don't think you need it. But it's interesting. I think the one they're what's the one in Kings Island? The same thing.
The bat.
The bat.
The bat. Yeah, I believe they do.
Yeah.
On those, if I'm not
Have
mistaken.
seatbelts?
Yeah.
I haven't been to Kings Island, so not in a long time.
Me neither.
Anyways. So,
Nice park.
yeah.
Yeah.
So their Halloween weekends are going really well too.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Oh,
the
yeah.
Same thing with them. Is I hear they're just getting slammed. Absolutely slammed. I mean, Kings Island, same issue last night. Their parking lot was just loaded. People were complaining about the lines, this and that. Six Flags was slammed last night. I saw people complaining about that. 2-hour wait for a coaster. And it's like, well, it's that time of year. It's like that every year,
Nothing can top Cedar Point, though. I
When we
don't
go up
know.
there,
You ever been to Disney,
Yeah.
Dylan?
Yeah. Long time
But
ago.
they can't compare with thrill rides. Dylan's right on that. They've got
No, the
nothing
thrill, but line
on.
wise, lines and crowd wise, yeah.
Line, yeah.
yeah, I think when we finally get up there for Halloween weekends, I think we're just mostly walk through the scare zones. So you don't have to mess with the lines that much.
Andrew's not here. I guess I'll throw it out there. I did mention something about a lot of parks are starting to implement bag policies now for Halloween,
Yeah.
for the Halloween weekends events.
As far
I
as, like, not
want to
bringing them in.
jump in really quick. I just want to let you know I don't think Andrew will be back. He left a message.
Yeah.
Donnie,
Oh,
you're
he
in
did?
charge.
I didn't see that.
You're in charge. So
Yeah.
don't
Uh-oh.
lead us astray, my friend.
All right. Well, it's 2 minutes still, so we'll finish up this and we can do our ride of the week. I think we're almost done here.
Yeah.
So bags.
Yeah, a lot of parks are starting to implement bag policies. I know all the other Cedar Fair parks have, and a couple of the workers that I was talking with told me that they're strongly considering it next year for Cedar Point as well.
So, like, no bags at all, or
Well, either no bags or you're only allowed like a real small bag, or a medical bag, which I only usually wear a little fanny pack strap thing, put my car keys in and my camera.
But you're a boy. We
but
girls
what do you need to bring into
stuff.
the park? I mean,
Do you want to know
everything.
you want to know what's in my fanny pack? Do you really
Yes.
want to know? I have
Yes.
like so much stuff. Okay, a big sunscreen because spray is the only thing to do in the place. And this delicate skin needs to be protected.
That makes sense.
multiple times throughout the day.
Exactly. My daughter doesn't like spray sunscreen, so I also bring a lotion. I have a hairbrush. I have ponchos because you never know when a rainstorm might pop up. I've got hair ties. I've got a small medical kit with Band-Aids. I've got a bottle of Motrin. I've got
wow. You can fit all
various
that.
other things. Some chapstick. I got because I need it. I hold the phones like. Yeah, I need my bag.
Find Nicole if you get a headache from one of the rides. Find Nicole, hit her up for some Motrin.
I got Motrin.
Band-Aid.
Like a pharmacy.
If I have
walking pharmacy, yeah.
I'm a mom. We're the ones responsible. So if people need things, I'm trying to think. There's more stuff in there. I usually have a comb or a hairbrush of some type. I used to carry wipes, baby wipes, even when I didn't have babies, because those hands are nasty.
Get a little sticky from slushy or something.
From the handrails and the
handrails and some of the
we got people doing weird stuff in line, so I need to make sure that
who knows what's on those handrails, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Geez.
So, but I'm not. I have graduated to a fanny pack, so that's what I do now. But I used to have a full-on backpack. So I would even. I will sometimes in the summer. I'll even have a pair of flip-flops in there. In case we go on water rides, because I can't have squishy shoes, but walking barefoot is the most disgusting thing to me.
Yeah,
well,
that's
it's
exactly
funny.
what it sounds like, Dylan.
My friend last week was at Kings Island. They have a bag policy implemented there for their Halloween. All he had was a simple drawstring backpack thing with a couple little things in it. They wouldn't let him in. So what he did was he took the couple items out of the bag, folded up the drawstring bag, put it in his pocket. He had the items in his hand, walked through, they let him in. Then he just put everything back when he walked through the gate.
There you go.
Well, and here's where they'll get caught. This will be the problem is not to be too descriptive, but ladies have needs and they need bags for those.
Well,
needs.
that is the exception. That is the exception. They said medical related, things like that are the exception.
Stuff. So now, speaking of your bags, like I bring the wagon, even though my youngest child is
Yes.
now 8 years old, and nobody
Yes.
needs a wagon in my family, but I bring it because you want me to spend my money on your merch. I'm not carrying this stuff around all day. So the wagon is like the
Yeah, they're
extra shoes going there,
expensive.
the ponchos, the stuffies, the squishmallows, everything, any award, any prizes that we win, it's all going in there. It's all going
I
in the
promise
wagon.
you, if I had a non-rider with me, I would have a wagon or a stroller or something because it's just
Well, Donnie,
convenient.
did you know
Where you
about a
park it?
service that the park has about for that? If you win a stuffed animal or prize, they'll send it up to the front of the park for you, by the locker rental thing there, where you rent the
Really?
wheelchairs, and they will hold it there for you. Yes.
They'll send it themselves. Like, how do they
Yeah,
even
they'll
get it
send
up there?
Yep.
That's crazy. I've
What
never heard of
about-
that. That's amazing.
What about the basketballs, Dave?
Oh God,
I
get
know
rid of
you're
those.
a fan.
Oh,
Will they send the basketballs to the front?
they possibly could. I don't
Maybe.
know, but
Basketball?
I think those
Yeah, even
basketballs need to
basketball.
be deflated when they hand them out.
That's a lot of work.
Well, no, they got to blow them up when they get them, right?
That's
So-
not. That's
There
not
you
when you get
go.
home.
You got to
That's
blow
a
it
lot
up
of work.
yourself.
How are you
Yeah.
gonna dribble it all day long? Come on, we're gonna work on our
That's
skills
the
here.
point.
All right, you ready for
That's
ride of the
amazing.
week?
Ride of the week.
All right, we're going with Snake River Expeditions this week.
Okay.
Oh,
originally-
Andrew's going to be so sad
I
because this
know.
is like
Man.
his favorite. He
Well,
likes
he
Shady
actually-
Acres and Snake River Expedition.
Well, he actually likes it, but he's not. I'll speak for Andrew. He says it's they kind of just copied off of
That's all
the
right.
Disney one.
Disney.
What was the Disney one?
Well,
Jungle
Jungle
Cruise.
Cruise.
Jungle Cruise.
Well,
Jungle
but,
I've
Cruise.
actually never rode it. Have you guys?
I
Have
did.
we all
I
rode
did.
Snake River?
Oh yeah.
I did it last
Jungle
time I was
Cruise.
there for the first time. I made my whole group go and they were making fun of me, but I was like, we have to ride this ride. And the kids definitely chuckled. It was not as good as Jungle Cruise, by the way. Not
Okay.
even close. They have
No,
so
well.
many jokes. Jungle Cruise has so many jokes. So
Okay.
they had a few jokes and it was good.
I keep
happy. It was a
thinking
nice way
about
to spend the afternoon.
This
But I'll
this
give
is a
Cedar
different
Point
water
credit.
ride, but I always think of Thunder Canyon. Thunder Canyon. Is it?
But this
Is
isn't
it-
a water ride.
No,
No.
this is just a boat ride that goes around the middle of the park.
Oh, okay. It's one of those. Okay.
Snake
Yeah.
River Expedition.
But I will give Cedar Point
Expedition.
credit because on a theming scale for a park like Cedar Point, it's up there.
Yes,
they
it
don't
is.
have the $1 billion budget Disney has, for one, and then you got to maintain all that stuff as well. But I will say this, it used to be Riverboat, the Riverboat ride before that, and
Yeah.
it was the same thing. They had animatronics out there, and paddle wheel excursions. I couldn't.
Yeah.
Just popped in my head. And it was on the same level, only they didn't have the interaction like they have with the new one.
The actors.
They didn't
yeah.
have the actors and all that out there. It was all animatronics. And then they had all the tacky jokes, kind of like Jungle Cruise,
Mm-hmm.
which was funny. The one of my favorite ones is like when you're getting off the boat, they're like, yeah, if you get out of the boat and hit your head, watch your language or something like that. They just had the wooden
Yeah.
people shooting wooden bullets so it wouldn't hurt. Just a bunch of tacky jokes.
Yes.
That was funny.
Let's do that.
Yeah. So
I love it. I liked
That
it.
was-
We had fun.
I'm gonna have to check it out next season. Obviously, it's closed now. There you
now
have it.
that
That's the
only
ride of the week.
operates from like Memorial
Yeah.
Day to Labor Day. It's
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
open all year. So,
We
Yeah.
did have to wait for it too. It was we went like the second to last weekend in August, and we did have to wait a good, I think, maybe 40 minutes for
Oh,
it
wow, all
because
right.
it moves really slow. So
well,
Yeah.
not
Yes.
only that too, but
Only so many boats.
brings us back to like Mine Ride. It's like the amount of family rides they have at the park is real limited. They need to bring some more of those type of rides in, for families. And that's one
And
of the
get 'em out of-
problems is
Well,
you got all
I
these
kind of
families wanting to ride something together.
that's what I picture the Wild Mouse. I mean, obviously it's a roller coaster, but it's not going to be a real big one. I think it's going to be something that more of the families, kids that don't like the big rides can get on and enjoy. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
To that Wild Mouse.
Yeah, that's going to be a good one. Although, albeit a capacity nightmare, I'm calling it now.
For sure, for sure.
That's what I don't like. I don't even envision that I'll ride it next year, unless for some reason I get a fast lane pass. I don't even imagine I'll ride the mouse
If
next
they
year
take
because the
fast lane
line.
on it, a lot of times the first year
Right,
ride's
that's
open,
true.
they don't do fast lane on it. But
That's true. I just don't. I don't want to wait. I'm on the Ashley boat of. I'm not waiting 3 hours for a spinny,
sure.
pukey ride, even if it has a couple hills. So I don't know. We'll see.
I'm gonna
I
ride
reserve
it. I'll tell
judgment.
you.
oh, I'll ride it too. Yep.
I can't wait to have a beer at the boardwalk. All right, guys.
Yes,
So much,
that's
yeah.
what I think
Well, that's
too.
it. Let's wrap this up. That's it for the Cedar
Is there
Point
any movement
podcast.
on me using you using the old disaster transport stuff? I haven't asked you in a while.
No,
but
I still have not gotten a regular computer to do.
Yeah.
To do,
that
you're going
on.
to
My
transfer it to a
computer
file?
broke on me with my pad
All
on
right.
there.
Everybody's
my
got a computer
laptops
down.
don't have disk drives on them, so I can't do that.
I just can't wait to
Yeah,
use that.
all
so.
my computers don't have disk drives anymore, so it's like
Take them to
I do have an
Costco.
external.
Yeah, take them to Costco. They'll put them on a jump drive.
There you
Well,
go.
here's the thing: I have an external drive I forgot I had, so maybe I'll try putting it in there and plugging it into my laptop and see what that does. But yeah,
deal.
I'm working on it.
All right. We'll look
Life's
forward
busy.
to that.
Yeah.
All right. Anybody going to the park this week?
No,
not-
not till final
Not
last
this week,
weekend.
but- Are we doing a get together on the closing weekend?
Yeah,
I'll be there.
With that.
All right.
get
Closing
I'll be
weekend,
there
Cedar
on the-
Point podcast.
Yeah, I'll be there Thursday, Friday, and half of Saturday. I got to be
All right,
back
we're gonna
for
try
a
and come up
party
Friday
Saturday night.
probably.
So
So
I know
we'll
I'll
come up
Yay.
Thursday
definitely
night
do
through
that.
Friday
Guess where-
most likely.
I didn't tell you guys this. I booked the 10th floor at Breakers for my birthday.
Ooh.
I'm
All
so
right.
excited. Yeah.
Breakers is the bomb.
Yep. Good times.
Well, if we're not at Breakers, we'll see you in the park. We'll come up there
Yes.
on like that either Thursday night or Friday morning or something. Maybe even pull the kids out of school. Who knows?
What? You're the coolest
All right.
dad in town.
Woo!
This is amazing. I'm actually taking mine out of school too.
All right, cool.
Oh well, it's fine.
All right, guys.
It's my birthday. I
that's
can
it.
do whatever I want.
Yeah. Well, yes. Come up to Cedar Point next weekend, the weekend of the 30th, Halloween weekend, to meet the Cedar Point podcast. All right, guys.
Yeah,
let's
I
chat
would
next
love
week.
to meet everybody. I would love to.
Let's go, Dylan.
All right, guys.
Call your
I'll
mom,
see
get a
you
ride.
next week. That's the Cedar Point podcast. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Right on.